Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Billy Gernon, the head baseball coach at Western Michigan. How's it going?
It's going great. Just over 2 weeks before we kick it off again.
So just how has the first few weeks been going, and what have practices been like before we start the season in a few weeks?
Well, I mean, I think there's definitely some excitement. I mean, we're coming off of a pretty much a historical season in a lot of facets. Not only that, we were the MAC tournament champions and represented the conference in the NCAA tournament, the only team in the state to make the NCAA tournament. So we've got an opportunity and challenged our guys to just continue getting better so that we could feel that sensation again.
Okay, so winning the MAC tournament and all that, and having the season that you did, because I know this program has been waiting a long time, to get to this moment. What was it like to get there again and do it?
Well, it hasn't been waiting a long time. We've won two MAC tournaments in my coaching career, and they're the only two in the school's history.
Right.
We won it in 2016 in Avon with Keegan Aiken on the mound, and
Yep.
he's with the Baltimore Orioles and just avoided arbitration.
Yep.
In 2020, Casey, we had a phenomenal season going on. It was canceled like everybody else. In 2021, we finished third. Only one team went because they got rid of the tournament. In 2022, probably one of the better teams I've ever had. But two starting pitchers didn't pitch, and they're both being paid to pitch right now. We set all kinds of offensive records in 23. We came back and we ended up making the 4-team shortened MAC tournament that was held at Kent State, and had our top guy not blown out his knee the weekend before on the mound. I think we would have made some noise. And then we followed it up in 2024. Tip my hat to Bowling Green State for the streak that they went on, or we might have won both of them. So this program has been trending since 2020. And clearly, I'm very defensive of it. We work our butts off, and we have always been relevant, and we're planning on being relevant again this year, Casey.
Yeah. Okay, so time to talk about the guys that are going to be back, and some of the new faces that are coming into the team, and also the ones that you got from the portal.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about a few guys, right? We're just trying to get the identity of a 2025 team. They're going to be a completely different team than last year, but you got to start with Dylan Nevar, the reigning MAC Freshman of the Year, the reigning MAC Tournament MVP from last season. He was an academic All-American last year, shattered the single-season RBI record with 71. He's only 15 RBIs away from being the career RBI leader in history at Western Michigan, surpassing Matt Mieske, who played in the big leagues for 10 years. So he's a big centerpiece of our offense. We returned, our infield, where our defense was really great. It has been at third base, Brendan Harity at shortstop, Mike Maloney, and at second base, Grady Mee, all returners from a championship team. So we got some championship pedigree in the infield. We are going to be missing several players, too many to name, but we've got new faces behind the plate. We're going to have new faces at first base. We're going to probably have new faces in center field and right field. So there's still a lot of openings. There's still a lot of competition going on the mound. We've got some new faces on the mound. Transfer portal Ty McKinstry from Frankenmuth, Michigan. Looks like he's going to factor in the top of our rotation. DJ Thompson, who started game 3 in the MAC tournament and got us a win there. He'll probably be in the rotation. There's a couple of guys battling out. Our top reliever, Turner Doran, who's going to sit in the back and hopefully get the toughest outs in the game, which are the last 3 to 5. So I feel good about that, along with the sprinkling of some relievers like Joe Shapiro. So I feel pretty good about our team, Casey. It's just, when you lose as much power as we did, we're going to be looking at a different type of offensive club this year with hopefully the depth 1 through 9 and maybe a little bit more speed.
Yeah. Okay. So going into the season, when you talk about the non-conference slate, because there's always a bunch of teams that you schedule out. So Where are you heading to start the season in a few weeks?
Yeah, well, we're going to open up at the USA Training Complex in Cary, North Carolina. I haven't been there in my 30 years in baseball, so I kind of wanted to go. And we're going to connect with Monmouth and Dayton and Michigan State. So that'll be a little round robin tournament to get us out of the gate. Hopefully the weather will be okay. And then we go to ACC foe and very good program Louisville the second weekend. And then spring break will start at another challenging ACC park of Georgia Tech. Then we'll work ourselves back up to the balmy heat of northern Indiana and Michigan, where we'll open up a conference with Ball State at Ball State.
Okay. And yeah, you mentioned the conference. What is the MAC going to look like this year in terms of baseball?
That's getting harder and harder, Casey, with the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's what
I
everyone's been
mean,
saying.
yeah, it really is. And I just got an email today asking me to pick, who I think how I think the conference will finish. Uh, I went back and looked at the last 8 to 10 years, and nobody's done a good job of picking who they think is going to come in the top 3 or 4. And I think it'll be tough this year. I think there'll be tremendous balance. I would expect, the reigning regular season champs, Bowling Green, to have another good team, and then the usuals that have been there. And then there's some programs that have struggled to get to the tournament. One of them's not us, but there is a few, and I see them trending in a difficult or in a much better trajectory. I think it's going to be really tough, and it's a 16 tournament, and I think it's going to be a dogfight late into the season to see who makes it.
Yeah. So, going into this season, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish in these next few weeks before the season starts the week of the 14th? Because it's the calendar turns to February this weekend.
Yeah, well, number one is defense. I mean, you just can't. I've had I've had some years where I've had a great offensive team and we defended okay but couldn't pitch. That was in 2022. I mean, you got to start with defense and then you got to go to pitching and then you got to have some timely offense. So the drumbeat around here is, to be in the top 2 or 3 in the league without question and get ourselves in the top 50 in the nation in defense so we can just eliminate that as a problem. The next thing is with, our new pitching coach, Zach Putnam, who's a Michigan native from Ann Arbor Pioneer, won 3 championships as a Wolverine and played in the big leagues for 6 or 7 years as a starter and reliever. He's come in and taken the place of Daniel Schlereth. And Danny obviously did a great job last year, but Zach Putnam has really filled a void, and he has been outstanding. And I think our pitching has got a chance to be very good. There's a lot of depth there. You might see a lot of changes for us and just kind of limiting the number of outs we give each arm, but we've got some depth there, both right and left-handed. So we're really just trying to, polish the product, get the defense right, understand our defensive modes and bunting and first and thirds, our pick system, cuts and relays, and then just trying to, come up with our identity. There's going to be 4 or 5, maybe even 6 new guys in the lineup, and that's going to be something that we haven't dealt with in the last couple of years.
Yeah. All right. Billy, thank you so much for the time as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
For sure. Thank you. Go Broncos.